All right, well, after some research, I find that there really is not going to be an easy way to test the idle air control motor. But unbeknownst to me, I actually have a way to test the circuitry. This is an IAC Noid light. I was doing the research and found that there is an IAC Noid light that you can use to test if you're getting signal. And I had remembered that I actually do have one of these. I've never used it before. It did not have any instructions, but I did some research, and basically we're going to get some flashing red and yellow lights that'll alternate back and forth when we have signal. So what I'm going to do is we're going to plug this in to where the IAC would go, and then see if I can command some signal and verify that the signal is getting to this tester. Okay, just turned on the AC. This should command it to open, and we do get flashing lights. You can see this alternating current here is why I would need a oscilloscope. Once again, reason for an oscilloscope, because of the alternating current on two different coils here. All right, looks like we've stopped there, and also on the scan tool it shows that we've stopped command. And as a matter of fact, it looks like I might have a check engine light on here too. All right, but anyway, I'm pretty satisfied that that is good indication of a complete signal for the opening of the valve. Now let's see if we have signal for closing it. Of course, I'm just going to turn off the AC and see that we get the same result. Okay, and I was just looking at my scan tool and I saw that I do have a idle air control code for the first time, by the way, a P0506 showing unexpected RPM. So that I also take as a good sign. It's the first time we've been doing any of this that I've had such a code. Stay right there. Code is cleared. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and turn the air conditioner off and see if we get some signal. Okay, AC is off and we do get signal. We are getting signal closing the valve now, and we're continuing. Let's take a look over here. There's our IAC right there. Okay, excellent. Let's just repeat that one more time. First of all, let's see if that gave me a trouble code. And I did not get a trouble code that time, it looks like. Let's see. Nope. So let's go ahead and try that one more time. Our red line on the graph there. And you see we do get signal. As long as I've got this little toy here, I might as well make the most use of it. I just thought there's another way I can test this too. Let's go ahead and increase the idle, make sure we get signal when the idle increases. And we do. And then let's decrease idle, make sure we get decreased signal. And we do. That actually was easier than doing the air conditioning, honestly. Let's try that one more time. Gonna increase, we should get some activity. And we do. And then decreasing, we get signal. And it looks like it's stabilized. So I am pretty satisfied. I'm going to go ahead and do this a few more times off camera, but I'm satisfied that we have consistent signal. Given the fact we have consistent signal and the fact that we visually saw the IAC not move appropriately, that is going to be confirmation enough for me that I need an IAC. One idle air control valve at $126. Apparently, they are made by leprechauns, but we better be right about this diagnosis. Ooh, nice and shiny. Okay, real quick, I wanted to catch this. I just wanted to show another thing with the fix. I had turned the AC on here, and you see it did shoot our fuel trims up, but notice that the short-term fuel trims below have corrected and brought it down. And I wish I had caught that at the beginning on camera, but that correction there with the AC on, and you see we're still getting the short-term fuel trims negative. So we should be down, you know, around 5 or so for the long-term fuel trims with 190,000 miles, I think, on this engine. I'm pretty happy with. So see, we're still getting the correction there a little bit. So anyway, I just wanted to show that as further evidence of the repair. That was pretty cool to see that for the first time we are getting a correction on that high fuel trim. All right, we're about to do the ultimate test. Let's go on a test drive. So I have been driving around a little bit just to give some time for the fuel learns. And we can see here, if you look at my IAC position down there in orange, we're at a much healthier IAC position here. And when I hit the gas, you see we have very minor fuel trim adjustments, but we drop right back very quickly now to a much healthier IAC position here. All right, so now we're driving the car. You can see our fuel trims are holding pretty nice and steady there. Let me go ahead and get on it. You see when I get on it, very minor change in the fuel trims. And I better watch my speed here a little bit. Okay, probably not recommended to really do this while driving, but you can see we're holding very nice with our fuel trims now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably keep my eyes on the road here and pull over, and we'll try the air conditioner and see what happens. All right, and actually before I do, we've got plenty of open stretch here, so I'm going to go ahead and get on it. And you can see we do not get a significant increase in fuel trim. It actually improves, if anything. I'm sure if I had short term on there, it would be pretty good. Let's try that again. All right. All right, so I'm sitting in an idle here right now, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the air conditioner. There goes the air conditioner. Let's see what happens with our reactions here. We get only a slight increase in fuel trims now, and we see that we've got good reaction from the IAC and the map. I am going to call that a fix unless I see any indication to the contrary, because admittedly we had a little intermittence thing there going on, but after driving the car, it's been over a day now and still seeing that we're stable. I'm going to call that a fix. So a real quick discussion here. One of the things I always do when I have a big challenge like this, I always look at it as a learning opportunity as opposed to something I have to fix, and this certainly was that. But one of the things that we want to also learn, I always look, what could I have done to diagnose this better and faster? And also look at any lingering questions I had that led me away from the diagnosis. And some of you guys I know already asked some of these questions in the earlier videos. One question that I still have, and many of you guys asked, why was there no idle air control position check engine light code on this thing? And I actually don't know. There are two things that I do know. One thing I know, you're not going to get a idle motor position check engine light when you have a 0171 or 0174 code. That I do know, at least on a GM car. So I think that the code probably sort of obscured the actual problem with the idle air control. I've mentioned in many videos before, you can have what I call referenced codes, where a part is causing a code, but because the sensors detect a certain effect, they sort of throw the wrong code, so to speak. And I believe that that's probably what happened here. Now, the second thing is, if you notice, I never got any idle air control codes until I unplugged the sensor and plugged in that little signal detector. And what I believe maybe is the case is that because there was some movement with the pintle, that the computer did think that there was no problem with the motor. It's probably thinking the motor's moving when it actually is not moving to the correct position, but the computer is just more seeing a lean condition than it is an idle air control motor position problem, if that makes sense. Best explanation I can come with. I really can't think of anything else. And then another question is, why no drivability issues? And that's one I'll have to do some research on when I do my video eventually on diagnosis and understanding of the IAC. All I can tell you is that the computer must be able to compensate somehow, which is interesting because it didn't think there was a problem with the IAC by not throwing a code. But we did notice something. When I was doing that electrical tester, that Noid light thing to check for IAC signal, did you notice The engine ran perfectly fine. I turned on the air conditioner, there was no stumbling. Turn off the air conditioner, no stumbling. And this is with the IAC unplugged. So it's very clear. Also during the idle tests, increasing idle and then letting off to let the idle quickly decrease, no stumbling, no drivability issues. So the point is, it's very obvious that this car runs perfectly fine without the IAC even plugged in, much less it halfway working. What is the compensation that it's doing for the lack of any IAC movement? I actually don't know. I'll have to research that. But all I can tell you is that we saw for ourselves that did happen. With the IAC unplugged, it absolutely ran perfectly fine. So whatever. But anyway, the other thing too is what could have been done better. Well, I think the most important thing that I've learned is if I start getting results that don't look like they're making much sense, that don't make no goddamn sense, then what I'm going to do is immediately go into generic mode. And to be honest with you, if I don't need enhanced parameter mode on my scan tool, I am probably just going to default to doing generic mode. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'm going to change and that I've learned as a result of this little adventure. So anyway, like I said, we're going to call this a fix unless otherwise indicated. So thanks very much for everybody. There was so much participation, and I really actually don't think I would have been able to do this without some of the help from quite a few of you. So very much appreciate your feedback and comments and participation with the channel. So I'm going to take a little time off after this, but we'll be back and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful.